Listen, all people and nations, the Antichrist has come. Oprah Winfrey of the Oprah Winfrey Show and founder of the New Earth Church is the Antichrist. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Please watch this sermon and then run tell everybody that you know. The Antichrist has come. Run, children, and tell everybody that you know. Oprah Winfrey is the Antichrist. Several months ago, standing at this very lectern, I made the statement and a message that I call the Trinity of Hell. And in that message of the Trinity of Hell, I outlined three people that constructed the Trinity. The first person I identified within that Trinity of Hell was Oprah Winfrey, the television talk show host, billionaire, entrepreneur. And the second person that I identified in that Trinity of Hell was, at the time, referring to him, and we'll refer to him now as I did then, Barack Hussein Obama. The third person in that Trinity I referred to, the Trinity of Hell, was Dr. Jeremiah Wright. All three of these were members of the Trinity United Church of Christ in Chicago, Illinois. Now, I went on to identify and state that the relationships of those three were of the worst sort. And I stated that I would identify that I had documented incontrovertible proof of my statements and that they could be demonstrated and detailed. What I wish to do at present is to begin the process of the revelation, the documentation, and the detailing of those statements that we uttered a few months ago. I'm going to start with the first of the persons mentioned. And when the time is right, the others will be mentioned as well. And because of the nature of the documentation and revelation, I wish to make the next announcement through the medium of the media, calling on persons such as Sean Hannity and an announcer at one of the world's oldest radio stations out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, KDKA, Mr. Kevin Miller, will simultaneously make further announcements when that time is right and appropriate. Now, it needs to be understood as we go forward that Oprah Winfrey is the most powerful woman on the planet. She is the queen of women. She is the queen of the universe. And this woman has started the largest, fastest growing church on the scene on the planet today. There are several things that they have as their core and principal belief. They also believe within this church that there is no such thing as sin. She has emphatically stated that Jesus is not the Christ.
One of the mistakes that human beings make is believing that there is only one way to live, and that we don't accept that there are diverse ways of being in the world, that there are millions of ways to be a human being, and many ways, but many paths to what you call God. And her path might be something else, and when she gets there, she might call it the light. But her loving and her kindness and her generosity brings her, if it brings her to the same point that it brings you, it doesn't matter whether she called it God along the way or not.
And I guess the danger that could be in that, I mean, it sounds great on the onset, but if you really look at both sides,
there couldn't possibly be just one way. What about Jesus? What about Jesus?
You mix him up in this whole discussion, and you say there isn't only one way. There is one way and only one way, and that is through Jesus.
There couldn't possibly be with
because
millions of people
say
in the
there
world.
isn't.
I'd like to point out that Oprah, of course, is the leader. She is the founder of this church. and this church is growing rapidly within the earth. This same Oprah Winfrey, a part of the Trinity of Hell that we outlined several months ago, went ahead now using the power of her church, the power of her media, the power of her consciousness influence, has endorsed, but before endorsing, brought to the world's consciousness, to the world's attention, a man that was a part of her Trinity, her fellowship at the Trinity of Hell Church in Chicago, Illinois, named Barack Hussein Obama. They worshiped there together. They lived in Chicago together. They were partners and comrades together in developing what we now see as a new world order and a new world movement. This endorsement and introduction to the world, when he was allowed to come into her presence and sit on her couch, she introduced him to the world. No one knew him, and then has gone on to support and endorse him as the leader of the New Earth Church in terms of its political realm. Now, Oprah has clearly stated, and if you will ask her or any of her followers, any members of the New Earth Church, they will tell you that Oprah has denied that Jesus has come, that God has come in the flesh. And the Bible says in 1 John 2:22 that anyone who does that is the Antichrist. And certainly the public and influential and powerful denial that we have in Oprah Winfrey renders her certainly as inasmuch as that she has put together a religious order of more than 5 million members at present and growing, that she is indeed the Antichrist. What we now wish to state, if you will simply Google the name Farrakhan and go to his most recent video posting, you will see in a recent meeting in Chicago, Illinois, that Minister Louis Farrakhan advised his members of the Nation of Islam to please recognize that the Messiah has now come.
And that is why Barack has captured the youth. And he has involved young people in a political process that they didn't care anything about. That's a sign. When the Messiah speaks, the youth will hear. And the Messiah is absolutely speaking.
It's strange that a Muslim who does not believe in Jesus, but believes that now the Messiah and the true Messiah is in the earth in the person of Barack Hussein Obama. The tactics that Oprah used early on and continues to use now to lure lonely housewives, mainly white, middle class, middle of America, both soccer and hockey moms, to her television conglomerate early on in her career. Her daytime television found lonely white women at home and alone. What you need to understand, this is Oprah's following. These are her people. And he is using the same tactics and the luring speeches that Oprah uses in her church to bring all of these people to this new Messiah. The Antichrist and the false Messiah have appeared in our day and in our time. We are seeing the prophecy fulfilled. Oprah Winfrey is the Antichrist. Barack Hussein Obama is the false Messiah. Run, children. Run, children. Run, children. And tell everybody you know. And don't stop warning people. Let all people and all nations know that the Antichrist has come and the false Messiah is here.